Hey everyone, welcome to Founders 365 with me, Steven Haggerty. Today I'm joined by Mark Newsome, aka Mr. Marketing. How are you today, Mark?
I'm good, Steven. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to be a guest, man. I appreciate it.
The honor is all mine. This is from our chat, but just now we've been chatting for 20 minutes already before we've gone live. Time is going to fly. This is going to be an amazing podcast. So thank you for making the time to do this. So, Mr. Marketing, maybe I'm just going to call you that the whole show. Mr.
Wow,
Marketing.
awesome.
Why not? Tell me and tell the guests or the listeners, what you do and who you help.
Very simply, ladies and gentlemen, if you are an entrepreneur, if you want to label it small business, mid-sized business, service provider, startup entrepreneur, here's what I know about you. You need customers. You need ongoing revenue. What I specialize in doing is basically two things, Steven. Number one, I'm going to show you and help you look at lead generation in a whole nother way. Because once you see how limiting, no offense, in my opinion, you've been looking at your marketing and your advertising and your promoting, you're going to see that you have way more opportunity to do a lot more, a lot faster for a whole lot less. For example, appearing on a podcast like this Dynamo right here, this is super leverage, ladies and gentlemen. Why go one to one when you can go one to many? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to try to teach you to do. So here's what I need you to do. Here's what Steven and I need you to do. You got to think conceptually. What are you saying, Mark? If Steven says 9 plus 1, and I say 8 plus 2, and the next expert says 7 plus 3, 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4, 20 minus 10, conceptually, mathematically, it's all 10. That's what I want you to get you to see, because you may not be able to do 9 plus 1, you heard from Steven, or 8 plus 2, what you heard from me, but you can do 7 plus 3.
Love it.
That's what I want you to get to.
So for me, you've just said so simple, in simple terms, what lead gen should be, right? Why do so many people get it wrong?
Well, who knows, Steven? I don't think we have enough time, but here's my simple take on it.
We've got time.
Here's my simple take on it. Seriously, the environment that they're in, what gets reinforced is this sort of myopic, what I like to say, you see the trees, but you don't see the forest. So you're so focused on 7 plus 3 equals 10 that you're cutting out all these other opportunities to get yourself to the same place faster.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Ladies and gentlemen, don't ever, ever, ever forget this. No matter what your situation is, somebody has a solution and somebody needs what you have to help them get over the hump. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, Steven has a show where he interviews experts, which means he needs experts, right? So exactly. Here I'm trying to get exposure. I could go out and try. Here's the other. Don't be an island. I could go out here trying to do everything myself like you're doing right now. Mm-hmm. Or I could leverage a guy like Steven who was helping me with some of the techie stuff before we came online. There's always somebody with the knowledge to fill in the gaps that you and I don't have.
Yeah.
And I want you to start having open eyes. Steven, can I give them a really simple example of what I'm talking about?
Do it.
Okay. Let's suppose Steven owns this really popular women's deluxe facial treatment center, whatever that would entail.
I wasn't sure where you were going to go there.
Right. And I have a retail jewelry store. Let's say we're in one of those mini strip malls and we're 2 doors down. We know each other. We've gone to lunch. We've known each other for years. And some of my female employees go over there and get a facial. So one day, Steven and I are talking. And Steven, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share the magic question with you right now live. Steven, I want you to answer this. You don't know what I'm going to say. I want the audience to see how potentially powerful and profitable this can be. Here's the magic question. Steven, is it okay if I periodically refer you new business and customers?
Yes, of course.
Bingo. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? I'm telling you statistically, 95 to 98% of the time, if you ask that to a person you have a established relationship with, you're going to get an emphatic yes. Now, by the same token, Stephen, as long as it doesn't take away from anything you're currently doing or will be doing in the future, are you okay with returning the favor?
Of course.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen,
Boom.
the door of opportunity, the pendulum has just swung wide open. Now, here's how you. Oh, and by the way,
here's a question though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People fear asking that.
Okay, good point. That's why I said you only do this. Great point. You only do this with established relationships. In other words, this isn't a cold call strategy. You don't go across the street to somebody you never did business with. Oh, no.
You don't rock up to a networking event, shove a business card in someone's face.
Exactly. No, we're talking about the people that you're on a first name basis with them. You know them. Now is the time, especially in this redesigned economy, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to find a lot of people.
Redesigned economy.
Right? Because that's what it is. It's forcing people to pivot. They didn't want to, Stephen. They're being forced to pivot. Yeah. Now, having said that, here's my idea to Stephen. I say, Stephen, since you're okay with me referring you new business, I got a concept for you. I have these beautiful $450 diamond studded earrings, which, let's be honest, my actual hard cost is maybe between $175, $200. Let's go $200 to make it even. Here's what I'm going to do. You send all of your female employees over here. As long as they drag a friend with them, I'll let them and the friend get these diamond studded earrings for $250 instead of, excuse me, $200 instead of $450. That's the first thing. So they should be excited, Stephen, right?
Yeah.
Your employees. Now, what have I just done? For actual cost, I've created some walking, talking billboards. That's the first thing. Now, but here's more important. I tell Stephen, he tells every female who sits down in his chair, hey, listen, if you get service X in other words, upsell, you get service X on top of what you already came in here for, you get this extremely time-sensitive gift certificate to go 2 doors down to our buddies down at the jewelry store, Mark Newsome, and he'll hook you up with some $450 earrings for $200 as long as you drag a friend. I guarantee you a percentage of those ladies are going to come and drag a friend, right?
Sure.
If they come alone, now here's a concept, ladies and gentlemen, so you're not confused. And again, remember, I'm telling you, think conceptual. Here's a concept. If they come alone, this is what your gift certificate says. Come alone, you save 10%, something low. Simply for dragging a friend, you save up to X, 40%. And instead of being only able to save 10% on $500, you save 40% on $1,500. Now, if you're serious about getting some nice looking bling, and I hope that term is the same term they use over there, Stephen, some jewelry, would you rather save 40% simply for dragging a neighbor, a co-worker, a friend, a relative, whoever to my shop and save 40% on up to $1,500? Yeah. And here's the flip side, Stephen. The flip side of my index, my market tested index card. That's the key phrase here, ladies and gentlemen. Market tested. You don't roll this out until we test it in a small group of people. Here's the flip side. It tells them to enter my free monthly drawing for a chance to win a $2,500 diamond studded necklace.
Yeah. Or
the gentleman can win a $2,500 Rolex. And here's why we're mentioning the gentleman. You say, but this is a female facial deluxe center, Mark. Why would a guy be? He may not. The female may not be into jewelry. So we're letting her know to pass this card on to somebody else so we can leverage it. Maybe her husband, maybe her brother, maybe her brother.
Creating that domino effect.
Exactly. And I guarantee you, and so here's the concept, ladies and gentlemen, so we don't get too bogged down in the details. You got to create your own list. See, it's great for me to appear on Steven's podcast, but let's be honest. Steven is the landlord. I'm the tenant. I'm the guest. He's got the power. He could look at this afterwards and say, yeah, it was okay, but no, it's just not right for my audience. Where does that lead me? So you want to get ultimate leverage. This simple strategy will get it. Now, here's the other thing. I tell Steven, once a month, he's going to keep tab. Every customer who spends the highest, $300, $400, whatever it is, I'm going to allow him to give he's going to send it to him, courtesy of him. And Steven, get this. This is what the envelope is going to say. The headline on the top of the letter you're going to send. You are awesome! ! Now, who in their right mind is going to argue with that? right?
Not
You just say, dear
the thing
valued
is what I
customer.
like about you, Mark, is you make it so simple
That's right.
that it can't not be understood, right?
Oh, thank you.
And I say this because in the marketing world right now, I think it is so noisy of people trying to sell whatever it is to whoever it is. But you're making it, you're like humanizing it, right?
I
You're
hope so.
creating this relationship that every single business owner should be having between their customer, their customer's friends, their relatives, whatever it is. You know, your offers shouldn't be that one-to-one relationship, like you said at the beginning. You know, that one to many in all different senses.
Absolutely.
But
Great
what
point.
about when you speak to someone and perhaps they're at that such early stage of their business and they're in that tunnel vision of, I don't know anyone that will buy from me, or none of my friends understand what I'm doing. That is so common with business owners, no matter what level they're at.
Right.
You know, our partners and all that kind of stuff often don't understand what they do. How do you get them from that stage to, hey, you've got to build this list, you've got to start creating this list? How do you overcome those barriers?
Excellent, excellent question. A couple of things. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, let's take this out of what he's saying business. Let's think about personal relationships. Here's a famous Seth Godin example. You go into a social function, a bar for the very first time. You see this person that just physically, emotionally, they turn you on. Does it make sense at this point in your relationship to propose marriage? No, you just met the person, right? I mean, if you're serious, right? So you say, well, how do we go from, sort of like you said, they're in the murky waters. I don't know what to say. We have to start building the foundation first. So what's foundational when somebody first meets and they want to go further? You start dating. So you start spoon feeding this person or organization, whoever you're trying to approach, tidbits, and you help them along. Now you got to be patient. And you also have to understand where they're coming from. If you show them how to sell without being salesy, you're going to open a lot of doors. See, like you just made a great point.
You just said there, though, patience.
Patience. I mean, because in the beginning, they're not emotionally where you are yet.
Yeah.
They may get there, but not if you push them.
A lot of business owners don't have patience, though.
That, you know what? Oh man, you open the door to something else. But to finish the startup, because here you're right. Let me say this. I just heard a guy say this, Steven, and this is spot on. Ladies and gentlemen, stop treating your business like a one-night stand. You're all about the customer, the sale, and that's great. We all need cash flow. Don't get me wrong. Here's what I'm suggesting, though. Let's say you meet, and I'm just conceiving our guys. Let's say we meet this beautiful young lady, and she instantly can read our minds of where we want to go with the night. Okay, if we pursue that one end goal, we're going to miss out.
You're missing out on the
marriage. Be a beautiful long-term relationship, but our impatience is leading us to do and say things that are just turning her off. The same with your potential customers. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've done this. We've done it. Steven's done it. You go into some place for the first time and they come over and say, may I help you? And you and I say, no, I'm just looking. Well, how many times are you going to do that and blow off potential money when you could start A/B split testing stuff? What do you mean, Mark? For instance, Steve and I are both sales reps. Of course, Steven does more money than me because he's a better salesman. But the point is, I go over and I say, may I help you? And I get the, no, I'm just looking. Steven goes over, starts to come, hey, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Is this your first time with us? And they say, yeah. He said, oh my goodness. I know you entered our free drawing for a chance to win X. If that X is large enough, if they do nothing else, they're going to enter your drawing. A percentage. I'm not saying everybody, but the point is, at least we're going to start list building. Because if somebody's just looking, translate it, don't push me. Okay, let's attract them rather than try to push them. And I'm telling you, a free drawing with a nice, high perceived value gift is a great way to do it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to have email and all that. It's better because you can contact them 3-4 times in the next week and you don't have to pay for typesetting each time. You don't have to wait for the printer to get it, do what they do, and get back to you. you can craft an email. And if your paid email service provider allows you to segment, in other words, if you have a music store, I'm just using this example. Steven's into drums, I'm into guitars. You can have a line in there say, click this, check this box if you only want our most updated information about drums, electronic drums. Well, since I'm not into that, I don't click it, but Steven did. Well, that tells that software only send him messages about this. I'm telling you, as a jeweler, you could create a list that says, if you only wanted to be, or only want to be contacted when we have a closeout blowout sale, click this box. Now, when you say blowout sale extravaganza in that subject line, guess what? Steven clicks it open, oh, what's going on here? And says, hey, get over to our store between this date and that date. As long as you bring a friend, you automatically go into a free drawing where we're going to choose 2 grand prize winners, 1 male, 1 female.
Yeah.
This way you're hitting both ends of the market. And one other concept, Steven. I hope this isn't too far all over the place, ladies and gentlemen.
I've opened a chest of concepts. I love it.
Okay, I was going to say.
You're just like, hey, this is you're like me. When you start talking about something, you just have like these ideas and it goes off. I love it. This is what this is about, though, because this is the reason I start these podcasts is I love seeing the insight of how people work.
Exactly.
And I can imagine if I sat across the table from you and saying to like, Mark, help me get more leads in my business. We are going to have like a brainstorming marathon.
You better believe it, brother.
Other people are not going to be able to give me. This is the great thing. You better believe it.
Because you're energizing me too. When I play this back, see, I'll be able to get even more concepts. But let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, because I know here's something that I already can see that's eating at you. Let's suppose Steven runs a retail furniture concern.
I'm running a lot of stores here, Mark.
Here's
I'm a busy man.
Here is what you can
got a facial company.
Here's what I want you to think about. Steven's going to put a big giant sign in the middle of his store that says free drawing. Now, guess what he's giving away? A $10,000 master bedroom suite, whatever that entails. Only Steven knows. But here's the point. It didn't cost him 10 grand, because I can already hear some people, I don't have 10 grand. That could be a closeout. The bottom line is going to cost you somewhere between hard costs, $4,000, $5,000, half, in other words. So your real actual hardcore investment is $5,000. But here's what I'm trying to $5,000. Here's what I want you to get to. The customers who come in see that's hard to resist. That's like saying in America, penny, right? Free Super Bowl tickets, or I don't know what the big sporting event in your country is, but that's going to be hard to resist. But here's what I want you to understand about this. Let's suppose he does this for 90 days. Only one person or 2 max, 1 male, 1 female, can be the grand prize winners, right? Okay, so what do you do with it? Let's say 5,000 people enter, right? Do you blow the other 4,999 or 98 off? Of course not. 2 things. Number 1, you hit them with what we call a bounce back offer. What does that mean, Mark? You tell them, hey, this is what you put in if you're sending an email or a snail mail postcard. Congratulations. This is the headline. Congratulations! ! Unfortunately, you weren't the first grand prize winner. Oh, that went to Steven Haggerty. However, you have won an extremely valuable, time-sensitive second prize valued at X. You put a date where they have to act between this time, and you give your secondary prize a perceived value. But we're not even, Steven, here's what I want to get to. You're going to offer them something not as good, obviously, as the grand prize. So you might say, again, 10% come along, 40% off any one purchase up to $2,000. Because remember, retail jewelry and retail furniture have huge markups. They got commissions and lease payment. They got a whole stuff built in there. They got to have huge margin. So they might actually have this thing marked up 250%. Now they're giving 40 back. So I want you to understand that. But here's what I want to get to, Steven. Here's the powerful part. Let's say you have 2 master bedroom suites, right? So you're going to give one away in a free drawing. But here's what you're going to do with the second one. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question, Steven. I already know you know the answer, but I want the audience to hear this. Can you imagine selling a retail furniture, a deluxe master bedroom suite that already retails for $10,000? So we know who we're going at. We're going for the high end of the market.
Sure.
Can you imagine selling that same piece and grossing $30,000?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, who's going to pay $30,000 for something that normally retails for 10? Well, you're not going to sell it for $30,000, but you're going to use it to gross at least $30,000. Let me show you how. That last piece, you're going to hold a raffle. And you're going to say, as long as you're a VIP, get this, VIP email subscriber, you enter a raffle for a one-time price of $500 to win this $10,000 retail, value master bedroom suite. However, if you don't want to join our list, that's okay. You can still enter the drawing, the raffle, but you pay $2,000. Now, which one do you think they'd rather do, Steven? $500 for joining your list, or $2,000? So in other words, you make the ethical bribe huge enough that the people that are most serious say, oh, of course I'm going to do this for $500. So let's suppose 3,000 people put up $500. Somebody want to pull out their calculator and do the math on that?
You've asked the wrong person for the maths question.
Right, I know, right?
I am awful.
So I think they get the point.
It's a decent amount of money, let's put it that way.
Right? You more than paid for the master bedroom suite, right? You put money in a lot of money in your pocket on an item that's a closeout, and then you turn around and you tell a local charity, I'll give you 5% of this, but if you want, I'll show you how you can get 20% of this. What do you think they'd rather get, Steven? 5 or 20?
Exactly.
Right? So, well, what do we need to do? Every 90 days, I want you to make your donors aware that they can come into my shop. And as long as they drag somebody with them who's at least 18, that's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, it need to be at least 18. You tell them they drag somebody in, we'll give you 20% of this every time we do this raffle concept, and we'll give you 5% of their ongoing revenue.
Yeah.
I can't see.
From a business point of view then, or founder's point of view, why do you think that so many people only focus on that $10,000 item rather than the $30,000 windfall that they can have if they get the marketing strategy right?
I'll say it's 2 reasons. They don't know Steven Haggerty and they don't know Mr. Marketing. Because like you said, they're myopic. And that's what I said. They see the tree. They don't see the forest of possibilities.
Yeah.
And all the people there in business, Steven, they're not using upsells.
Yeah.
They're not using bounce back offers. What do you mean, Mark? Somebody comes into your store and buys something. They have demonstrated a certain level of trust. You automatically give them a time sensitive, even an index card or something that says, hey, you come back within a certain amount of time and you get a savings of X small. You drag somebody with you, you get a bigger savings.
I feel like you can't walk into a store now without thinking these things. Like, how do you even manage on a day-to-day basis to walk in and buy anything from the shop?
Let me tell you something. It's funny you say that. Not all, but there are certain businesses, man, I'm telling you, I look and I just feel like, wow, I bet if they were to really start marketing and promoting this deal, they can make a lot of money. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a guy right now. I don't know if you know him. He's a real estate guru in America. His name is, I hope I don't. I'm going to call him Dean G. The last name is G, like in GOAT. His name is Grazioso.
Dean. I can't say a surname.
The real estate
doing a lot of stuff with Tony Robbins at the moment.
Right. This guy. Okay. He does
just had a kid.
Here's a theme, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. You may have noticed. Here's a theme. Steven writes a book. And he comes on his own podcast and he makes the podcast rounds and he says, I'm giving away my free book on blah, 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 blah. You only pay shipping and costs, right? Everybody's doing that now, right? You know what I mean? It's an old concept. It's been around a long time. But
they're paying shipping and costs, but
yes, still pay the shipping and costs. And in reality, you're paying for the hard cost of the book. Now, here's my point. Dean says specifically, I'm giving away 100,000 copies of my book. So what he's telling you is, He wants to build a list of at least 100,000 subscribers. Now, here's my point. Let's suppose Steven, myself, and 2 other entrepreneurs have a market-tested offer that's relevant now. In other words, if you buy this, you might buy our stuff too. Each of us, Dean puts our offer, which is nothing more than a market-tested flyer, in his offer. So 25,000 gets Steven's offer, 25,000 get mine, 25,000 get the other 2 offers, so that it comes out to 100. I guarantee you, Dean just put extra money in his pocket, because out of those 25,000 that goes out to Steven, that Steven's offer goes out to, there's going to be some people that are interested in that.
Yeah.
So here's my point, because again, if you're myopic, you're saying, I don't have a book. That's not the concept. Here's the concept. Some of your vendors might be using mail order. You need to have your market tested offer in there. And if you have additional products and services to sell, in other words, a back end, give Steven 75 to 80% of the profit on that first sale after cost. In other words, you don't lose money to do this, but let Steven get the lion's share. Why? Because he'll proactively promote it. He'll tell other vendors who will approach you and say, hey, you're doing this with Steven. Can I do it with you? And again, this is if you have back end offers, other additional products, higher end products. Yes. Now you're getting leverage. You're going from the one to the many. You understand? In fact, think about this. What if Dean Grazioso says to us, you guys, you can go out and I'll charge you $1 a lead, but you got to do a minimum of 25,000. So in other words, if we want to play, we put up $1 for 25,000 people, $1 each, 25,000. Steven puts up 25, I put up 25, the other 2 put up 25. Dean just paid for his radio and infomercial time, or cut into it, a huge chunk. Ladies and gentlemen, do you not see that? Please tell me you can see that, because if you see that, the door has just opened. So it's a game changer. Absolute better word. Thank you, Steven. That's why you're the host.
You can take that one.
It's a game changer. In fact, it could get to the point where one of these, Steven could say, hey, listen, Dean, no offense. I know you're letting these other 3 guys ride. I'll pay you $2 and I want to ride the whole thing. So in other words, he wants to pay $2 for 100,000 people, $200,000. And then Dean says, no, I tell you what we'll do, Steven, you got the best offer anyway. We're tallying the numbers. Your thing is out pulling everybody else. How about I just let you ride the whole 100,000, but I want 25 to 50% of that first sale.
Yeah.
Stevens looks at his back end, knowing that ultimately he's got a $25,000 mastermind group coaching. He says, yes, Dean, let's do that, because I'm going to go on a podcast. I'm going to bring you on here and I'm going to tell people how we put this together and how this one strategy made me X, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Become the storyteller.
Yeah. This is marketing, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll make a challenge. I'm going to make a challenge to the audience, Steven. If any of you listening to this are saying that won't work for me, you contact me, let me put it together and keep 100% of the profits. And I'll do my best to prove you wrong.
Boom. That is quite the offer. That
if you're going to tell me, that won't work.
People should not be resisting that.
Yeah, right.
Because this is the thing. I see a lot of people try and do this. A lot of people attempt to do it and they fail. But they often fail because they're doing it alone, right? And this is where working with someone like you, working with someone like me, working with anyone, basically, anyone but yourself, will drastically improve your chances of success.
Absolutely.
A lot of people fear that. I do think that's changing mindset-wise. In America over there, it's a lot further ahead than the UK here in terms of coaching and mentoring and that side of things. The UK is speeding up in terms of that. But you know that you have come on this podcast. You know, I don't give my guests a brief or anything like that. And Mark has just blown it out of the water with countless opportunities that someone can actually absorb into their business right now. But I'm going to ask you one final question, Mark.
Okay.
I want this short and sweet. I don't want to be I don't need to own another shop. You're okay. I've got enough. But if you could give those 3 bits of absolute must-haves to a business owner for them to get started on that powerful money making list, right? Let's keep that clear. Like, your list should be making your business money. There's no point just having a chat. You should be having a conversation that is leading to something. But what would be your 3 points, no brainer, must haves that every single business owner should be doing?
Okay, short and sweet. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, you got to get some partners like Steven, joint ventures, strategic alliance, whatever you want to call them, collaborational partners. Start with the vendors you already have, the relationships you already have, the employees, current and future, that you already have or will have. You got to bring them into the thing. Boy, if we had time, Steven, or another time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd tell you a concept right now that could rock and roll with a jewelry and a hair designer or nail salon. But anyway, we don't have time. So to answer your question, I want you to start using some form of upsell. I want you to start leveraging your vendors' current, past, and future customer base by allowing them to give away your lower end thingy to get them to A, get old customers to come back, B, customers upsell, spend more money, and C, their staff. Like I said, jewelry, give some of your best jewelry away at cost to them, because they don't just work, they go out into the community. And that would be a walking, talking billboard for you 24/7. Because remember something, I don't care how much money you spend on these paid platforms, Facebook and Instagram and all LinkedIn. When you stop paying for the ads, guess what happens to your ad campaign? It's done.
Yeah.
If I give away a $450 pair of earrings for $200, I got a walking, talking billboard from now on. I hope you see the difference. That's leverage. That's what we're talking about.
Leverage everything.
As much as you can. And here's the other thing. Start small. If you've never run a marathon before, don't go out and try to run 26 miles. Run 4 miles. Get your win. Then bump it to 6. Then bump it to 10. See, too many people want to go from 0 to hero. You know, and I'm guilty of it too as a marketer, telling people, oh, you can do this and all that. It
comes back to what we said earlier about patience. You've got to have the patience to run that marathon.
Let's coin a frame here, Steven. Marketing patience. You are success patience, because if you try to bite off more than you can chew, more than you really can comprehend right now, and more than it's possible for you to do, like Steven, you're going to end up with goose eggs. So here's something else. I want you to start asking the magic question. Remember, is it okay to refer you new business and customers periodically to your current vendors and future vendors? I want you to find out who's open. And the ones who are open, start trying to put together some type of, and in the beginning, give a little more to them so you'll reap more on the back end. So I don't know if I answered this, but
Mark, you've answered it more and more. My final question to you is, how can people get in touch with you? How can people connect with you?
If you'd like to see more of what I have to offer, I want you to come to my blog. It's YOU Can Market Online. Don't forget the now. You can market online now.com.
It's always about the now.
Yes, it is.
That's it. That is the perfect way to end this. Mark, you have been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your value. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more from you and seeing you on more and more podcasts, because, you know, let's make that happen.
My friend, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed every minute.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks, everyone, for watching and listening. This has been Founders 365 with me, Steven Haggerty.